wanted to talk about a very boring book. So extremely boring. First time when I read it, it was very boring. The book is called Bhagavad Gita and is a fantastically boring book. எடுத்து 3 பேஜ் படிக்க முடியாது, மூடி வைக்கணும் போல தோணும். And I'm very sure a lot of us silently feel that. Just don't want to say it. Bhagavad Gita boring அப்படின்னு கேட்பாங்களேன்னு சொல்லவே மாட்டோம். It is boring. It is an extremely boring book. Give you an example. The first shloka in the Bhagavad Gita is Dhritarashtra uvacha. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveda yuyutsavaha mamaka pandavaschaiva kimakurvata sanjaya. இது ஒரு verse. இதோட அர்த்தம் என்ன? Dhritarashtra said, Dhritarashtra uvacha, Dhritarashtra said, Dharma kshetre, in the Dharma bhumi, Kurukshetre, in the Kurukshetra bhumi, Samaveda yuyutsavaha, the fighters gathered. Who are the fighters? Mamakaha and Pandavaha. My people and Pandavaha. My people சொல்றது Dhritarashtra said it, so my people is Kauravas. Kauravas and Pandavas gathered together. Kimakurvata Sanjaya. What did they do, Sanjaya? So, as a sentence, O Sanjaya, the fighters, Pandavas and Kauravas, gathered in Kurukshetra in the Dharma Bhumi. What did they do? இது ஒரு ஸ்லோகமா? இது Bhagavad Gita. It is a simple sentence. It's a stupid, simple sentence. Why should it be placed in a scripture? And therein lies our limited understanding. And that limited understanding continued for me for many years until the day I started learning Sanskritam. And when I started learning Sanskritam, and after a few months of learning, just after a few months of learning Sanskritam, and I looked through this shloka once more, and this is what it meant. Dhritarashtra uvacha. Dhritarashtra said. Who is Dhritarashtra? Dhritarashtra was born blind. Dhritarashtra was born blind. He was born along with Pandu and Vidura, same age group. When they were growing up, though he was blind, he actually mastered a lot. He was very good in archery. He was a very good student. And when they grew up, when the time came for the kingdom to choose a king, they chose Pandu because Dhritarashtra was blind. Dhritarashtra is a person who carries that pain within him all the time without letting go. Sounds familiar? Like a lot of us. He carries that pain with him without letting go. When he got married, Bhishma found Dhritarashtra a wife. Kingdom of Gandhara. The princess was Gandhari. Because Bhishma found the girl, the king Subala could not say no because Bhishma was so powerful. He wanted to say no because he was asking his daughter to be married to a blind man, but he didn't say no. They got married. Gandhari was so furious that she was married to a blind man that she blindfolded herself for the rest of her life. And they had marital problems forever. Dhritarashtra carried that pain within him without letting go. And his entire motive and entire functioning for years together was blinded because of his love for his son. He could not discern between right and wrong. He was blind. The entire focus of starting the Bhagavad Gita by Dhritarashtra uvacha is to say we are blind in nature. We haven't yet woken up. And then the Bhagavad Gita goes on to say, Dharma kshetre. Dharma kshetre. Kshetre na kshetram na field. It's a field. Kshetram is a field. What do we do in a field? We plant a seed. Seed grows into a plant. Plant grows into a tree. Tree gives fruits. And we enjoy the benefit of the fruits. Kshetram in Sanskritam also means the human body or the human being. What do we plant in the human being? A thought. And the thought grows into an idea and eventually into an action whose fruits we enjoy. Kshetram, human being. What kind of thought should we plant in the human being? Dharma kshetre. And what is dharma? There is a shloka that explains what is dharma na dharma na duty. Duty na dharma. That's the translation. What is dharma? Dhriti, kshama, dhamosteyam, shaucham, indriya nigraha, dhi vidya, satyam, akrotam, dashakam, dharma lakshanam. இப்படின்னு ஒரு ஸ்லோகம் இருக்கு. இந்த 10 குவாலிட்டியும் யாருக்கு இருக்கோ, he is a person who practices dharma. Dhriti, steadfastness. Dhriti அப்படின்னா என்ன? What do we commonly do? We try out something, we start it, கொஞ்ச நாள் கழிச்சு இது ரொம்ப கஷ்டமா இருக்கு, வேண்டாம் அப்படின்னு விட்டுருவோம். That is not dhriti. Dhriti, think a million times before you start something. Once you start it, don't give up. We make a promise. காலம்பர 4:30 மணிக்கு எழுந்து we will go walking from tomorrow. Promise. Before we wake up, Duryodhana will wake up and say snooze. Let us sleep for 10 more minutes. Not dhriti. Dhriti, steadfastness. Without unerring, it is non-negotiable steadfastness. Kshama, forgiveness, compassion. Again, looking deeper into it, it is not to say, you made a mistake, no problem, I'll forgive you. Adu vaayala solradhu. Are we capable of forgiving and forgetting completely that such an incident even happened and letting go? Kshama. Dhamaha, most important. Dhamaha means mana niyantranam. Translated, if we develop an ability to watch every single thought of us, like, நான் நடக்கிறேன், okay, I'm walking, சாப்பிடுறேன், okay, I'm eating. What am I eating? I'm eating rice, I'm eating bonda. How is this made? If we develop an ability to look at every single thought of us and live that thought, we will also develop an ability to live in the present. And that is the way to live in the present. Most of us have heard about it. Live in the present. Don't live in the past. Don't live in the future. நடக்கவே நடக்காது. Unless we arrest our thought to the present. The way to arrest our thought to the present is think about what we are doing. I am sitting down. I am listening to these words. I am listening to these words. If we bring our concentration to that moment, automatically we live in the present. Guaranteed. Instead, what do? Our mind works like this. It works like a tree. A tree has a trunk. A trunk has branches. Branches has other branches. It has leaves. Leaves has veins. Veins has pores. That is how our mind works. We think about a problem, which is a trunk. We think about all possible solutions. We pick one particular solution, go all the way to the leaf of the solution and the veins of the solution and the pores of the solution and say, if all this happens, I will do this. Come back to the trunk, talk about scenario number 2. And we keep thinking and thinking and thinking about all kinds of scenarios. And then kadasila vera edho nadakum. It doesn't matter. Dhamaha means thinking about what we are doing in the moment. And that is the first step of dhyanam. Dhyanam does not mean go and meditate somewhere. Dhyanam means, to begin with, think about what we are doing at the moment. Dhriti, Kshama, Dhamaha, Asteyam. Asteyam means do not steal. It does not refer to stealing objects. It does not refer to stealing objects. It refers to stealing people's happiness. Do not steal somebody's happiness. How? If you think sending a message or WhatsApp message will hurt somebody, don't send it. If you think posting something on Facebook will hurt somebody, don't post it. If you think telling something to your mother or father will hurt them, don't say it. If you think telling something to your child will hurt them, you can pretend. But if you think telling something will actually hurt them, don't say it. Asteyam. Do not steal somebody. And it is very difficult to practice. 1 hour ago, I hurt my mother. She was asking something. I said, and then I went back and I realized, am I practicing Asteyam? Why did I think? Because I was trying to practice Dhamaha. Everything has connection. Dhriti, Kshama, Dhamaha, Asteyam, Shaucham, cleanliness. Not just in our body, in everything that we do. Cleanliness of thought. How will cleanliness of thought have come about? If we stop stealing people's happiness, if we concentrate on every little thing we do. Tamaha. Shaucham. Indriya Nigraha, controlling the senses. Dihi, intelligence. Vidya, knowledge. Akrotam, don't get angry. Satyam, truth. Won't get into everything in detail. Dharma kshetre, what kind of thought do you plant in the human body? All these 10 qualities irukra mari thought, if you plant in the human body. That is what Dharmakshetre means. And Vyasa did not stop with Dharmakshetre. He said Kurukshetre. Kurukshetre, Kshetram, again the human body. Kuru means to do or action. Kuru means to do. Again the word Karyam Tamil Vartha came from Kuru. Samskrita Kuru lendu Karyam. Kuru means to do. The human body that does action. What kind of action does it do? It constantly does the action of fighting between good qualities and bad qualities. In effect, fighting between the Pandavaha and Kauravaha. And this is the genius of Vyasa. He didn't say, he could have very well said, Dharmakshetre, Kurukshetre, Samaveda, Yuyutsavaha, Kauravaha, Pandavaha, Kimakurvata Sanjay. He didn't say that. He said, Mamakaha, Pandavaha. Why? To signify that we are constantly saying, my people, my family, my house. Nothing wrong with that. But also to say, look at the society. Actually, in Rotary, you guys are already doing that, which is awesome. So, if we take a verse like this and deep dive into it by knowing the language, there is incredible amount of meaning in it, and the boredom does not exist anymore. Ana idu varadu kashtam. Idu varadu kashtam because we have not created a connection with any of the characters who actually make a play in the Bhagavad Gita or in the Kurukshetra war. We haven't made a connection with those characters. How do we make a connection with those characters? We make a connection with those characters by starting at the beginning of the story. Why is this important? Imagine a young boy, first standard boy. He goes to his father and says, Dad, how long do I have to study before I start working? So the dad says, son, you have to study for 12 years of school. The first standard kid says, 12 years? 12 வருஷம் படிக்கணுமா? And then the dad says, it's not just school. 12 வருஷம் படிச்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் you have to study college. So, அது எவ்வளவு நாள்? It's about 4 years. 16 வருஷம் படிக்கணுமா? அது மட்டும் இல்ல, மாஸ்டர்ஸ் பண்ணா இன்னும் better career opportunities. So, இன்னொரு 2 years add பண்ணிக்கோ. 18 வருஷம் படிக்கணுமா? And then the dad says, in case you want to become a doctor, it will going to take a few more years of residency and specialization. And the first standard kid, if he says, I have to study for 2 decades, I'm not going to first standard. And kids don't say that. And kids don't say that. And that is the magic. Why don't kids say that? Not because they don't know enough. They know a lot. To them, they don't say that because to them, learning is a way of life. Learning is not a result. And somewhere when we grew up, everything became about that paycheck. Everything became about that result. The result is guaranteed if you focus on the process. And every day the process has to incorporate learning. And if we learn the story, the Mahabharata story, starting from the very beginning, Shantanulen ஆரம்பிக்கணும்ல, அதுக்கு முன்னாடி இருக்கு. It starts from Brahma, Atri, Chandra, Buddha, Pururava, Nahusha, Ayusu, Bharata, Dushyanta, Suhotra, Pratipa, Shantanu, Bhishma, Chitrangada, Vichitravirya, Dhritarashtra, Pandu, Vidura, Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadeva, Duryodhana, and the rest of them. இந்த இவ்வளோ கேரக்டர்ஸை படிச்சுட்டு அவளோட ஸ்டோரிஸ் எல்லாம் படிச்சா, the minute you come to Bhagavad Gita, you will make a connection. And that is one of the vital importance. And இதுக்கெல்லாம் root is to know the language. I guarantee you, there is not 90% of the words in Sanskritam cannot be translated. It just cannot be translated. And the magic I found out, this is what happened to me. I was in such a bad shape. Friend told me, go learn, join Sanskritam class and learn. அவ்வளோ பெரிய பிரச்சனையில் இருக்கேன், போய் சம்ஸ்கிருதம் கற்றுக்கோங்கிற லூசா நீ அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருந்தேன். நிஜமாவே, this is exactly what happened. She said, just go there for a day. So, 3-day camp. Go there for a day. Don't like it? Don't like it. I went there for the day with the mindset that at lunchtime I will go and I'll go to a bar or something. அப்படின்னா அந்த மைண்ட் செட்டோட போனேன். I went there. I stayed there. After half a day, my life changed. Learning that language is incredible experience. And it is so easy. It is so easy. It is so mathematical. And after learning that, All these things. When if I say Vakratunda Maha, I know the meaning. And it is such an awesome experience. You don't have to translate it. You just know. Kalidasa oda slokam one irukku. Vakarta iti sampriktau. Parvati Vakarta iti sampriktau. Vakarta pratipattaye. Jagadaspitaro vande. Parvati Parameshwarau. You might have seen it in Salangayoli. அதுக்கு அர்த்தம் வாக்கர்த்தா இது சம்பிருக்தவ். சம்பிருக்தவ்னா டைட் டுகெதர். வாக்குக்கும் அர்த்தத்துக்கும் எவ்வளோ ஒரு டைட் சம்பந்தம் இருக்கோ. The minute you say a word, அந்த வேர்டுக்கு ஒரு மீனிங் இருக்கு. We automatically know the meaning. That is how close Parvati and Parameshwara are. When we say these shlokas or when we read these scriptures, imagine knowing the meaning while you're reading it and not having to look for a translation or a Vyakhyanam by somebody. While you're reading it, if you know the meaning, it's an incredible experience. To bring in Samskriti, which is our culture, into our house. It has, I want to stress this, it has absolutely nothing to do with religion. Bring in our Samskriti into our home and start teaching them everything that is already available. Just a little bit at a time. If we succeed in doing that, if this group succeeds in bringing our culture to our family, imagine what one person who practices the 10 qualities of Dharma can do to a nation. He can become a Gandhi. Imagine 10 people. Imagine an entire nation like that. It is very much within our hands to create such a nation 30 years later. Dhanyavada.